Hello and hello everybody, my name is Lucy, welcome to Books and Brushes. So today I'm doing my April wrap-up part 2 because there was too many books to do in a single part. So if you haven't seen the first video, you can go watch that, it will be linked and all that jazz. And if you have watched that first video, thank you for coming back for the second part. Let's get on with the 4 books I have to talk about. So the first book is a reread, so I won't go into like mega detail about this one, but that is It Just Me by Miranda Hart. Now I really love Miranda Hart. I love a lot of comedians. I have a few like autobiographies by comedians if you've seen that collection before. This is one of Miranda Hart's. It's kind of like stand-up but in a written book form. It's not like a biography, but it's almost like a comedy sketch in a book. I picked this up just because I really wanted something fun and light-hearted and amusing. I don't know why, I was just really in the mood for it. So I thought I'd pick it up and reread it again. Last time I read it was a while ago, a year or so, 2 ago? I don't remember. It was really fun to revisit this and go back to the mind of Miranda. I had a lot of fun reading it. I always suggest picking up books by comedians because they tend to be so good. Obviously this is a comedian I like, and her books are just so whimsical and silly and they're fun. So I enjoyed reading it, and if you're not a fan of Miranda Hart, you won't like this book, but then again I thought that was obvious. I just like the overall message of the book, that life doesn't go to plan and that you just gotta have some confidence in yourself, some self-esteem to go through life and just be like, oh well, when things don't go perfect. If you don't look like a supermodel, if you don't have your life completely on track as you imagined you would as a teenager, it's okay, and life, you just gotta take it as it is and use what you got. I love the overall messaging in this book, and it's just a fun, silly, light-hearted and self-affirming read. Now the next book I read, which I'm very excited to talk about this one, and that is Sleep by C.L. Taylor. So this book, one of my best friends Alice gave this to me for my birthday back in November, and I'd been dying for an excuse to read it. Enter the stay-at-home reading rush. So this was the first book I read for that, and if you had me on Twitter then you would have known that because I posted about it, and if you'd have seen my TBR video you'll know because it's the book I said I'd read because of the house on the cover and all that jazz. This is the only book I really needed to read for the reading rush to get all of the prompts done. It's set in a place I'd want to go, it has a house on the cover, I read it in the same place, and I am pleased to report that I loved this book. It's always a bit scary when a friend gives you a book because I'm always like, yes, I love it because it's a book, and I love it when people give me books, but then there's always that little bit of apprehension, like, oh, what if I hate it? That's going to be a bit like, oh, you know, it's a bit of a shame when, because of course someone doesn't know your reading taste as well as you do, and if they give you a book and you don't like it, it's a bit like, oh yeah, sorry, I hated it, and you don't want to hate your gift, you know? It's a strange one to give books as gifts. It's quite brave, because I'd never heard of this book. It's not like it was a book that I had in my mind that I wanted, that she knew I wanted. She just thought I'd like it. I'm so happy that I genuinely really enjoyed it. This book is about a high about town woman who works in marketing, I think. She's a very executive type person, and then she gets in a car crash with a bunch of her colleagues. I won't tell you all the things. Essentially her life gets flipped completely upside down, and so she decides that she just wants a totally different life. She goes to Scotland, up to a really small island called Rum, and she gets a job in the only hotel on the island as a receptionist because she wants a slower life and just to escape the past. However, the past is not quite done with her, and someone is out for revenge. So there are 7 guests in this hotel, and she knows that one of them is out to kill her. It's this intense, strange, mysterious thriller about this girl in a hotel and all of the other guests that we get to know, and we have suspicions of every single one of them. No one is clear. Everyone has secrets and mysteries and reasons they're on the island. Everyone is lying about something, and it's the mystery thriller where you're trying to decide who the killer is, and our main character is trying to decide who the killer is so that she can stop them because they're all in very close proximity. She knows that anything could do her in, and it's really intense, it's mysterious, it's creepy. I was so down for the mystery the whole time. I had no idea who it was through most of the book. Near the end, they start to drop the clues that you need to puzzle it out, and then I got it, but I got it when they wanted me to get it. That's the thing. There were so many characters it could be, like everyone was suspicious, so that was really great that it could have been any of them. Who it was in the end would have been a surprise, unless you'd have just guessed that character which would have been a guess, it was a surprise. And I found myself jumping back and forth, like, I think it's that one. Oh no, now I think it's that. No, it's not that one. I think it's that one. Oh no, I think it's that one again now. So like you keep jumping back and forth and trying to discover all the mysteries, and it's scary to think that there's one person in this hotel out for you. I really, really enjoyed it. I loved the whole thing. It was gripping from the very first page. It was an adult novel, but it was not like slow and dense. It was so fast paced. I just thought it was a really fantastic read, completely different to other things I've read, and I really enjoyed it. So if you like adult mystery thrillers, this is a really good one. And I never would have heard of this, I never would have known anything about this except for my friend Alice who gave it to me. So thanks Alice, you got a hit. And also thank you book for helping me through the reading rush, because I read this not as quick as I'd anticipated, but because of all of the prompts that you hold, I completed the reading rush with one book, so that was nice to have that one and done. Now the next book is a complete 180 from the mystery adult thriller, and that is a children's novel by a comedian. Completely different. So one of the other reasons I read Is It Just Me by Miranda Hart is that I was kind of gearing up to this one. Miranda Hart wrote a children's book called The Girl with the Lost Smile. I bought this a long time ago and never got around to it, and I thought for the stay home reading rush it would be fun, and especially since one of the prompts was a book to make you smile. You know, one of the words in the very title, and this entire book, one of the morals of it is about being happy. So I thought this was a perfect book, a perfect excuse to get around to this book, and I was really intrigued how Miranda Hart dealt with a children's novel. And first off, before I even get into the book, I think she did really well. I thought it was such a cute book. So this story is about a little girl called Chloe, and she has the biggest, brightest smile you'd ever see. She likes to smile at everyone because she thinks it helps make their day better, and her nan has taught her that you can get through anything if you've got a great smile and if you help uplift people along the way. But not all is going great for Chloe. She's trying to, you know, deny it, but her parents aren't doing so great. They're arguing a lot, they're kind of ignoring her. Just things aren't going very well. And this is affecting her more than she's realising. She wakes up one day, on her birthday I believe, and realises that her smile is gone. She just can't smile. She's lost her smile, which is one of her most favourite, proud of features that she had. And she's scared that what if she never finds her smile, and what if she never smiles again? Because it was her favourite thing to smile, and now everything's going wrong. She can't smile at people to help make them happy, in a bit of a spiral about what to do. A lot of this book also revolves around her imagination. So Chloe's a very imaginative girl, and she's got this place called Magic Land where she goes when she's sad, when she gets home. It's kind of to avoid her parents. She goes there all the time and she loves it. And now things are going wrong in Magic Land because her smile's gone. There is these shadows that are overtaking Magic Land, and she must, with the help of a couple of friends, she's got to try and bring back the magic to Magic Land and stop it from being invaded by these dark, shadowy figures. So you've got these like imaginary friend type creatures, and you've got these horrible shadowy figures, and lots of strange, unusual characters we meet along the way. Fictional and real, although I guess they're all fictional technically, but you know what I mean. And it's really, really cute. I did find the book quite long, which is funny because the family's called Mr. and Mrs. Long and Chloe Long. For a children's novel, I thought there was a lot. It could have been cut down a bit, but I did really enjoy the story. That's only like a small thing. It was really imaginative and cute, and the characters were really sweet. The world, her Magic Land, was very fleshed out. Miranda did a really good job of building this childlike, imaginative world and describing it for us. And one of the biggest things I liked about this book was the message in it, which I thought was genius. The overall message of the book was that you can't always smile. You know, sometimes life just goes wrong and you can't force yourself to be constantly happy, especially happy for other people. Because there's a lot of this book where Chloe thinks no one will like her if she's not smiling anymore, and then she realises that, you know, her true friends will like her and will support her if she has a smile or not, and she's got to be honest, not only with herself but with other people, how she's feeling. She can't pretend to be happy because that doesn't work. So if she's not feeling well, if she's not feeling smiley, then she's not feeling happy, and she can't force that, and she should just be honest with people about what she's feeling because they'll support her more than she thinks. And I think, especially for a children's book, that that's such an amazing message to send to kids, that smiling is wonderful, uplifting people is amazing, but also not to put too much pressure on yourself, to force yourself to be happy when you're not. Oh, I just thought that message was so nuanced and layered, and for a children's novel, the way she weaved it into the story, that was my favourite part. I thought that was an amazing way to tell kids this message through this story, especially for me, someone who struggles a lot with being happy. Mental health issues, this isn't really brought up in the book, but it's kind of what it implies. Like, from a kid's perspective, you wouldn't see the mental health issues, but from an adult perspective, such as myself, I can look at this book and go, she's trying to sow these seeds of what mental illness kind of could do and what it is, and trying to describe it in a way kids might understand and simplify it for the kids. I just thought it was such a nice message. Happiness is great, but sometimes you can't always be happy. You'll get that smile back eventually, even if it's not when you wanted it. I'm getting kind of choked up thinking about it. That message means a lot to me. It hit me somewhere in here, even though the majority of the story was not aimed for me, but there was that core moral in this story that I just was in love with. Well done, Miranda Hart, you wrote a great children's book. That was an amazing skill, to go from like a screenplay writer and an adult comedian to a children's book. Could she have done it? There's always that, did they just slap a famous name on the front because her name is in big letters? You can see a publisher just going, oh yeah, you write a children's book, it will sell. And there's always that worry. But no, Miranda Hart wrote a really, really great children's book. And The Girl with the Lost Smile marked the end of the reading rush for me. So I only read these 2 books, but I'm fine with that. I still read 2 books in 4 days, which is a lot more than my usual, and I enjoyed them both. And like I said, they both kind of covered all 4 prompts. So as far as I'm concerned, I won the stay home reading rush. I didn't read 4 books, but I really don't care. I had fun anyway, and I enjoyed the community spirit of the whole thing. After I read those 2 books, I kind of took a little bit of a break from reading, and by that I mean binging YouTube incessantly. I've also gotten obsessed with this game. I won't go into it. It's not Animal Crossing, just because I know you're going to ask. It's a horror game. It's totally different. I've gotten obsessed with this, and then I've just been watching non-stop YouTube videos about it. That's kind of sucked out my reading time. Whoops. But it's fine. I've read 6 books this month. I can take a break. And so when I did pick up a book, I had a couple to choose between. I really couldn't pick, so I made my boyfriend pick from my shelf, and he ended up picking The Sacrifice Box by Martin Stewart. Now, I bought this book a while ago, and again, I've been dying for an excuse to read it. First of all, the cover and that I really love. This synopsis as well sounds so interesting, so I was raring to go. However, we'll get to that. At the time of recording this, I've not finished this book. By the time that this video comes out, I probably will have finished the book. But right now, I'm almost halfway, maybe a third. I will reserve judgment till I've finished it, but it's kind of rocky right now. I'm going to read you the description from the back of the book because I want you to have the same description that I had. Seth, Arkle, Mac, Lamb and Hadley, 5 friends thrown together one summer. When they discover an ancient stone box in the forest, they each make a sacrifice, something special committed to the box forever, and they make a pact. 4 years later, a series of strange and terrifying events take place. Someone broke the rules and now everyone has to pay. But how much are they willing to sacrifice? Now, I loved that description. It sounded mysterious and strange, and I thought it would be really cool. So I'm at that part in the book right now where things are starting to happen, strange things, and the kind of groups are coming back together because they're realising it's to do with the box. And there's strange little snippets that I think are from the past. There are little chapters that are just like a page long but don't concern any of our characters. And they either talk about the box in the woods from like a mystical standpoint, or they talk about old characters that we don't really know. So I think there was another group of friends that did the same thing, starting to suspect that the box like makes you do this pact. Like the kids thought it was their own idea. They thought, oh, we could do this, that'd be fun. But I think the box is giving them these subliminal messages to make them do it, and it's not actually their idea at all, because it seems the rules and the pact was the exact same from the past with these complete separate characters as it is with our current characters. It's interesting. I'm enjoying it. I'm getting more into it as the story goes on. When the story first started, it was quite a slug. I'm not quite sure what's going on in the beginning, like you're a bit confused. There's a lot of names as well. There's so many characters with names, and they weren't really fleshed out or described. Like there's Lamb, there's Hadley. Hadley said this, Lamb said that, and you're like, whoa, who's who? And at this point, I'm still not sure which character's which out of our main 5. I'm a quarter of the way in, and I'm still not sure what characters what, other than the main character, Sep. I don't understand which character. I think Hadley's the girl. They're starting to come together, but that's always a bit of a red flag for me. If you're reading about 5 main characters and none of them are distinct and they're all their names get confused in your head, there's something off, especially when it's not a fantasy and the names aren't that. The names shouldn't be that confusing. There's always a red flag. You should have fleshed out these characters earlier on so I knew who each person was and I could picture them, and when they spoke, I could see it, but it's all a bit muddled. I'm enjoying the concept. I'm not sure if the execution is for me, but like I said, I'm enjoying it more as it goes on. I'm getting more used to the writing style, more used to the story. So hopefully by the time I finish this book, I'll have enjoyed it and it'll have turned around. We'll see. I'll let you know in my next wrap-up or video or whatever. I'll give you a quick little snippet of how it went for me. So you'll have to stay tuned and you'll have to subscribe to see how that went. I don't make the rules. Maybe a box is making me say these things. Ooh. Anyway, yeah, I can't really go into anything else because I am just a quarter of the way in. I'll have to let you know how that went. And those are the 4 books I finished off with April, so that makes 7 books in total. I don't think I'm going to read anything else in April after the Sacrifice box. I think that's my final book for April, and then we'll go into May. I hope you enjoyed part 2 of this wrap up, and I'd love to talk to you down in the comments as always about any of these books. There are some really interesting, unusual ones here. I'm not sure if you'll have read any of them because they're not super like popular booktube books, but still, either way, it would be nice to discuss and which one is the one that you'd want to read the most. I think I'd recommend Sleep the most. Tell me what you think. So there should be a mysterious box somewhere that's convincing you to press the like button and the subscribe button. Please do like if you did enjoy the video because it really does help and it gives me a great boost because people don't really tend to click the like button on videos. I don't know, it's weird. And comment down below because I love replying to comments. I will say that my channel is being a bit funny right now with notifications. I've got some notifications I haven't been able to respond to, and that is the most frustrating thing in the world to me. One of my videos has a comment that I just can't access, like YouTube won't show it to me, but I know it's there because I've got the notification, and then other comments appear and it doesn't notify me. So I'm having a few technical difficulties with replying to comments, but I will always try and reply to every single comment. Please comment down below and like the video and subscribe if you enjoy listening to me ramble on about shit, because I do that. And I will see you in my next video.